all this, and locals are in great anticipation. The acting regional coordinator of the National Disaster Management Agency in the West Coast region, Gani Jeng, explained the reason behind the cleanup exercise predominantly for Jambasane and urged the community not to leave everything in the hands of government and its donors.
The participants are going to be from the area where the hotspot is. And during that training, the last day of training, that was the time we come up with this idea that let's see, on the 3rd of August, let us take it as a cleaning exercise program and at least clean the area, because you know, if people are helping you, you should not just fold your hands and sit there like that. And these EU people are really willing to help us. This money is coming through NAUSU and it is facilitated by Cityscape. So they are saying that now if we can clean this area at least to have a free flow of water, so immediately after the rainy seasons, they can start their contract and see how best to rebuild the drainage so that we can, this is from such emergencies like this.
Officials of the Brikama Area Council also joined the cleanup exercise, putting environmental health and sanitation issues at the core of activities, defining the rainy season as liabilities increase. The manager of the Environmental Health and Sanitation Unit, Bakari Jadama, thanked the people of Jambasane, especially the women folk, for their participation in the exercise. He advised the community to desist from indiscriminate dumping and to devise ways to manage the waste they generate.
The Brikama Area Council is mandated by Local Government Act 2002 to make sure that the environment of West Coast, I mean starting from Kalaji to Katong, is kept clean. So as you could see, this is a very huge tax. And then actually, you know, as the situation is, we cannot take care of the environment alone. Environment is a cross-cutting issue and everybody has a stake towards environmental sanitation. So as a result, we sometimes go out to the air and talk to the people as to how to keep their environment clean.
Changing to adopt healthy attitudes and habits towards the environment is key for Lamin Kani, the public health officer at the Brikama Health Center.
It can serve as a reservoir for breeding point for water-related vectors like malaria. And also, if we don't control our kids, you know, to get into this water, they can also develop a condition called schistosomiasis.
And what is that one?
Yeah, schistosomiasis, it can be, you know, recognized by, you know, blood in urine, you know, and is a very, you know, major health problem. And also they can also acquire skin infections as a result of getting into this innoxious water. It is against public health, and even it is unsightly. It is not friendly to see this.
Pamane, the councillor of Nyambai Ward, was all praised for his people and the stakeholders who made the exercise a reality. He called on his people to manage their waste properly and avoid dumping litter into gutters, whilst expressing gratitude to the European Union for what he called a huge support that he hopes will put the area's troubles to rest. Emulating the initiative taken by the people of Jambasane, especially in settlements considered to be hotspots for floods, could definitely bring some improvement to mitigation efforts, getting to put disasters caused by heavy downpours at bay. It will save lives, lodgings, and essential valuables. Ibrahim Jata, GRTS.
The local incense called gowe is largely used during the rainy season in the country by most women due to its power of reducing odor in the household. It has been used in the country for centuries. To find out how this famous incense called gowe is produced, GRTS visited one of the sites in Lower Salom. Asetumane reports.
Gowe is largely used in the Senegambia region, especially during the rainy season due to its capacity of reducing odor. The gowe can be reproduced in several forms by adding spray, roasting it, or even using it in its dry form. In whatever way it is, it can be found in our markets and houses in various forms. The gowe incense is just normal grass that largely grows in swampy areas. These women who engage in the processing of the incense identify the ideal type of grass for use in the preparation of gowe. As it is seen, this is the very grass the incense seeds comes from. The place is very muddy, making it difficult for them to work properly. They have their tools in digging up the incense, which takes several hours before they get enough. A day routine which sounds very tiring, but these women have to do this to make ends meet. The process, as Aji Awacham explains, is not easy, as they barely work without enough tools, and it requires strength as the digging alone is hectic. Even though they work during the rainy season, work for them is easier, in the dry season. The likes of Ami Bayo prefer digging around the water area. According to her, it's easier to dig. After having dug the incense, they wash it in the waters, clean themselves before heading offshore. After washing the incense, our Thure explains that there are two types of gowe. One is dark in color due to the water, and the other is offshore, which usually is red and hard to get, but the scent is always the same. Having worked the whole day, they are now set to go offshore, where they burn the incense with its sticks. This is how they endure the uncomfortable smoke from the fire, while fanning down the flames of maintaining an all-around burn. They will pick the incense and pound it in a mortar to clean it. The final part is winnowing, and the gowe incense is set for the market. It is easy buying and lighting the famous gowe in our houses. But this is the routine these women endure every day to make ends meet and pay for their children's education. For Grts News, I am Esatumane.
We'll take our first break. News from outside the Gambia comes next. It would be a mistake to call the streets of Egypt calm, but they have been relatively quiet during the Eid al-Fitr holiday marking the end of Ramadan. That holiday comes to a close Sunday, and as Raza Saya tells us from the Egyptian capital, protesters feel a crackdown would soon follow.
Rising once again here in Egypt as we enter another dangerous phase in this conflict, where on one side you have the military-backed interim government, on the other side you have these people, supporters of the ousted President Mohammed Morsi and the Muslim Brotherhood. They've been protesting for more than a month. They won't leave, they say, until Morsi is reinstated again. For about 2 weeks, the international community, led by Washington and the European Union, tried to get these two sides to sit down and make peace. Some were hopeful, but then all of a sudden the mood changed when the interim president here said those efforts have failed. And then the prime minister said these demonstrations cannot continue. Those stark statements signaled that a crackdown could be coming. Here's what makes for a dangerous situation. If a crackdown is coming, that means security forces are going to have to clear out a demonstration that has mushroomed into a small town, where increasingly you're seeing a lot of women and children who say they're aware something could be coming soon, but they're ready.
The youngest child among us will be a lion against them. They want to come in, they are welcome. What makes them so frustrated is that we are peaceful.
This is what we're seeing more and more at these demonstrations. Families, mothers with their children, infants, toddlers. The interim government has suggested these families are using their children as human shields, but these families reject that accusation.
We are living here. We cannot leave our children and come here. We have to bring them with us.
This is a new feature of this sit-in, a kids' play center set up especially for the Eid holidays. Scores of kids here playing in inflatable castles, trampolines. There's a kiddie pool here. This place is going to be here at least through Sunday, and you have to believe this government security forces is aware of this place, and they're going to want to do everything possible to avoid an incident involving this place and the many kids playing here. As the children play, a military helicopter hovers way up above. It's still not clear what security forces plan to do with this demonstration. What is clear is that this place has become the focal point of this political fight, and what the interim government does with this place will be a defining moment in this conflict. Reza Saya, CNN, Cairo.
Well, violence has returned to the streets of Belfast, Northern Ireland. Police say 26 officers were injured when UK loyalists tried to block a parade by pro-Irish nationalists. Police fired water cannons at rioters who threw bricks and bottles. The two sides in Northern Ireland often hold matches and friction between the mostly Protestant loyalists and chiefly Catholic Irish Republicans, which sometimes turn violent. Details in this report.